I'm not going to give y'all a cinematic introduction. I understand why I'm here. 6 of the 8 players scored single digits. Happens. Will it happen again? I sure hope not. But an excuse to have a nice Miller after a day of work, it's fine. Maybe not.
All right, hello, and welcome back to Behind the Lines with Gabe, Eli, and Henry. Kevin couldn't make it today because his team's, not in a good way. He beat Henry, and then he disgraced us all by not showing up for the pod tonight. So we brought in his opponent in place. So let's go ahead and jump right in. No need for a long introduction. My matchup first, as always, Slim Reaper's Retribution took on Rockin' with Rico, is now the new team name. It was Say Quantum Mechanics before. I get the dub 129.2 to Noah's 92.9, and I move up to 4-2 and third in the standings, and Noah drops down to 3-3 and 8th in the standings. Looking at Noah's lineup first, obviously Jalen Hurts was the second highest scorer on his team, behind only Rico Dowdle, who Noah picked up off the waivers after Eli dropped him, and then Noah got back-to-back 30-point weeks from him. So those two guys combined for 54, and then beyond that, that's over almost 60% of Noah's points. Saquon and pretty much everybody else sub 10 except for Alvin Kamara, who did decent in that loss to New England. But Noah clearly needed some changes to the roster, needed some guys to fill in. Calvin Ridley is injured with a hamstring tear, and nobody performed well, really, aside from Rico Dowdle. So, hence the team name. And Noah puts up 100, loses here. I think we'll talk about the trade in a minute, but...
How many points did...
Idiot Round put up?
No.
Like 14.
Yeah. Who he traded Michael Pittman for?
Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers.
I don't know. We'll get to that, and we'll discuss that. But
Seven.
put a pin in that.
7.9.
Jacoby Myers.
Yeah.
7.9.
How with the massive brain again?
Huge brain.
How does he
Doubled
do
the
it?
points. Tal got a win too. But either way, looking over on the other side of the ball at my team, good scores pretty much all around. Highlighting the team, Devon Achane 31 in that loss to the Chargers, and then on the other side of the ball in that game, Justin Herbert 22.7. Solid performance from him, right at projected. That's where I need him to be to get me at that 130 mark. When he puts up those 10, 15-point games, that's when I start to barely float above 100, and then I can lose some weeks. Rashad White fills in great for Bucky Irving again. It looks like he may not play in week 7, according to the head coach. Puts up right at projected 17.6, so I'm excited for him again this week. Puka puts up 4.8, and he was doing okay until there was like 10 minutes left in the second quarter, and then went up for a ball, and that damn dirty Baltimore defensive player rolled up on his ankle, and now my Pookie Bear is hurt, and we'll see. He's probably going to be held out week 7 because they have a bye in week 8, so it just makes the most sense to give him 3 full weeks of rest. And maybe he comes back and plays in week 9, but we'll see. So he's down and the team's down, but we get the win today. Devontae Smith shits the bed again. This guy, I'm not wearing the Smitty jersey today. Obviously, we're rocking with Drake May. He's the GOAT. He's not even on my team, but I love that guy. And Devontae Smith, I don't know what to do with, but he's probably in the starting lineup just because sometimes he puts up 20 points. Travis Kelce, great game. T. Higgins with Joe Flacco looks serviceable. That's what I need him to be. And then Kendrick Bourne fills in a great spot. Hopefully he can continue to do that and jump up on the depth chart. Good win here for me. Bad loss for Noah, but he's retooled his team after this loss. I spanked him hard enough to make him rethink his decisions, and we move on.
And he got a good win last week.
He did get a good win last week against Henry, unfortunately.
That was Tal.
It was against me.
Oh, that was against you?
Yes, he Rico Dowdle.
Oh, that's right. Moving on to the second matchup of the week. It's Eli's matchup, so we'll let him take it. But
Speaking of good wins.
This is probably going to be the closest matchup of the year. This is a new stat that we're tracking for the CCFL record book. Eli wins by 0.3 points exactly. Moves up to 4-2. Wyatt down to 2-4. 81.38 to 81.08. Go ahead, take it away.
I don't even know if there's much to be said about this one. Truly, every physical possible thing that could have gone in my favor went in my favor. He was starting Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart he dropped Jackson Dart for Bryce Young. He dropped Bryce Young for Mac Jones. Both Jackson Dart and Bryce Young put up 22, 25 points. Dallas Goedert put up 26 on the bench.
He had Dallas Goedert in. He was running a 3 tight end gambit versus Eli's 2 tight end gambit.
It was 3 tight end gambit at the time as well.
Oh, you were both running 3 tight end gambit. Whenever Kevin and I looked at the matchups, I think in whatever week pod that was, but continue.
And then Roma Dunze got a touchdown called back at the very end of the game.
He did.
So I mean, like quite literally,
everything went exactly the way you needed.
Exactly that way. Yeah. As Gabe said, micro-minded. Thank God I started Theo Johnson over Kareem Hunt. That won me the week.
You would have tied. We would have seen the first ever tie.
I actually think I would have lost. Right?
It was exactly 0.3.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
4.7 to 4.3.
Dead heat tie.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
I don't feel that good about it. Sorry, Wyatt. It happens to you a lot. I won't gloat over it, but it's big time. This was big time. This was big time for the redemption arc team.
And the trade
on the bye week. Which one?
with me.
Yeah, we
ETN.
Since we last saw my team. Yeah, I've made 2 trades. I
just meant that's what got it done this week.
Yeah, well, for sure it did. Yeah, thank goodness. I tried to trade what feels like probably half the league for an RB2.
Because if you had started Kareem Hunt at RB2 and Theo Johnson, you would have lost.
No. And that's what I had. That's what I had going.
Interesting.
But yeah, a lot of people on bye, a lot of people suspended last week. So a good win. My team should be stronger going forward.
Definitely a good win and a historic win. I don't know the exact details, but I believe me versus Wyatt in that 2023 matchup when I was in Austin and he needed Gabe Davis to get 1 catch. I think that was 0.12 or something like that, 0.08, something like that. It was crazy.
I love being in the history books for the wrong reasons. It's in fantasy.
Moving on to the next matchup of the week, we'll let Henry take this one.
Sure, this is Bennett versus Al. Bennett, just another smacking. Bijan looked, the score was 126.9 to 80.74. Bennett gets an absolute nuke from Bijan. Everybody saw the 80-yard touchdown run where he looked absolutely unstoppable. A couple other guys on Bennett's team didn't do so hot in Quinshon Judkins and Garrett Wilson. We'll see if they're able to bounce back. Garrett Wilson's hurt. I think he hyperextended his knee.
Yeah, he's like...
either he hyperextended his knee or doesn't want to play for the Jets. Yeah. Both of those are probably...
He got a big extension this year, too, so he's got a lot of guaranteed money coming his way.
Yeah. Notably, Bennett wins with Bijan out, but it's like 90 points.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, I don't think Bennett has to worry about that. Bijan looks absolutely lights out.
Mm-hmm. The rest of the team carried him out.
Yeah, I mean,
both
he and Drake London had an absolute game against the Bills.
And he left points on the board. I mean, obviously, more than likely, you're not going to start Drake May unless you were me. But if I were Bennett, I would try and find a quarterback-needy team and get Drake May off there. Because he's quarterback 6, just sitting, quarterback 5, maybe, actually, just sitting there. So.
Yep. So, the rest of Bennett's team, he has 2 Green Bay receivers. Hopefully, one of them has a good week if you're ever put in this position. Team is looking really solid, putting up consistently pretty high scores. On the other side of the coin, we have Al's team. A bunch of things just didn't go right this week. A bunch of things haven't been going right the last couple weeks. Matt Stafford kind of fell off a cliff where he's had back-to-back 30-point weeks the last little bit.
Against Baltimore defense, too.
Yeah, that's not... Well, they, beat the crap out of him, so they didn't really need to. David Montgomery had a very middling game. It seems like he's a little bit more boomer bust than he used to be. Javonte against Carolina, you kind of expect to see a little bit more work, but they had to pass like the whole game. Chris Olave is still the highest targeted player in the NFL and has like 30% catch percentage, which is terrible. But that's what you get when you have Spencer Rattler as your QB1. He acquires DK Metcalf from me last week, who puts up his best score of the week, 20 points. I hate to see that, but good for Al. And then the rest of his team are plumbers and mechanics.
Travis Hunter had
David Njoku's down, knee injury, maybe significant.
Travis Hunter had a touchdown callback, right?
I don't know. I didn't watch that game.
I believe he did. He was either this week or last week.
I traded ETN. I didn't watch that game. Nobody on the Jags. But Al
had Jordan Mason on bye this week, so it'll be good to get him back in the lineup in the future. But aside from that, hoping to have some upswings in the next little bit.
Yeah, Al's in a tough spot. I mean, he was in the beer chug zone and he set the bar. All of his players were done and everybody else had to meet it. And unfortunately, I think Alex came just
3
inches short. Yeah. No, 1 point. 1.1.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or whatever it was. Yeah, 1.6, 1.7. Either way, moving on to our fourth matchup of the week. Baby Want Milky versus Riley Reid option. Charlie loses again, 103.7 to 146. Yeah, 146.1. Tal almost. Did he take down the? Yeah, I think that's top score. No. Kevin put up 149. Almost taking down that top score again. He had DeAndre Swift in the clutch, trying to give him another $10. Charlie puts up over 100 this week, but unable to get it done. Takes another loss down to 1-5, and Tal up to 4-2 in first in the standings. Let's look at the ugly before we look at the good. Charlie's team, Bo Nix, obviously Kyler Murray, he was out. Jacoby Brissett started in place of him, so he had no choice. Only puts up 15 points, and that's your third highest, score of the week. Not really a great week for him, especially in the running back room. Back-to-back, 8 points, underperformance. It's a tough matchup for Jalen Warren against the Browns, and you would expect Michael Carter to do better based on his performance the previous week. But
this was Jalen Warren's first week back, right?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah,
yes.
so that's not bad.
But he's getting good.
The Browns have been shutting down.
I'd be pretty happy.
Every running back.
I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah, but you want more points, especially to try and get a win.
And then he's got Ashton Genty as RB2 in reality.
The real thing is he's RB1. Jalen Warren's RB2, Michael Carter is there, and for some reason Charlie's got him in the flex. But either way, Xavier Worthy, decent game coming back from that injury the past few weeks. Hopefully he gets going, but Rashee Rice is now off suspension, so his target share will likely decline. Wandale finally gets you one of those 20 bombs. Unfortunately, it doesn't lead to a win. Wandale, I think he's put up 20 points the first game of the season and then this week, and then he's put up sub 10 points every other week. AJ Barner, the guy that Charlie streamed because Brock Bowers is injured, put up 10 points. That's all you can really ask for. Ashton Genty with 16.6 and AJ Brown with 14. Solid scores there at the bottom, but really it's the quarterback and the running back that kind of lost you this week, and Tal putting up a tactical nuke. I mean, Patrick Mahomes with a 37-point bomb.
Rice is done.
Yep. I'm going to circle back. Patrick Mahomes with a 37-point bomb. Jonathan Taylor with 23 points. DeAndre Swift with 25. Jamar Chase with 25. And then Jalen Waddle with 15. All great scores from those guys, either at or above projected for every single one. Had a couple underperformances. J.K. Dobbins kind of shut down versus the Jets with only 4. Mark Andrews only 6.6. And Jacoby Myers really has just not seemed like the wide receiver 1 on the Raiders. It's kind of seemed like Trey Tucker. Hopefully that improves for him going forward, since he traded Michael Pittman for him. But he's able to get a really high-scoring win without it and almost steal the $10 as well. And he made all the right start-sit decisions for the most part. I mean, Isaiah Pacheco, I guess he could have been 2 points higher. But either way, good win for Tal, and he's up to first.
And I think that, if you're Charlie, you're in last place going into this week facing the first-place team. Probably don't expect to win. I think you can take some positives of scoring 103 you saw this week that number will win you a game.
Especially, I mean, when you get Brock Bowers back in the lineup, maybe you start Jerry Jeudy over somebody like Michael Carter. You swap Ashton Jeanty in running back and then swap Jerry Jeudy in that flex spot. Or, maybe Hollywood Brown. Maybe you try and move one of those receivers. You have 2 Kansas City receivers. You're never realistically going to start both. You're better off probably trying to trade and get somebody else that you may be able to start. But yeah, over 100 points. It gives you a chance to win a week, especially when you have 6 people in the league put up sub 100.
Yeah. Couple notes for Tal. Patrick Mahomes QB1. What year is it? And then Tal also has the most points for and the most points against.
He's just
tanking.
Beating me out in points against by 0.06.
Wow.
But yeah, so good win for Tal.
Interesting note. And then Eli, will let you take this 5th matchup. We have JSFN versus Swifties for Smirnoff. Alex falling to 3-3 at 79.0, and Sam winning, going up to 4-2 at 92.
Yeah, I mean, Baker's doing Baker things. I think that's to be expected. He's a dog. He's probably going to get you 20 points a week. It seems like that's kind of his floor. Really just a big underperformance by Jahmyr Gibbs, I feel like.
Everybody except for Baker and JSN.
Yeah, I mean, well, Khalil Shakir, I think you can expect in the 6 to 12 range. Juwan Jennings.
Playing through 5 broken ribs. And
I think it's a rough start. Maybe
let him rest.
Game well. He did have Jordan Addison on bye, but just like a bad game script kind of week. He was projected to beat Sam pretty heavily, I believe, at the start of the week.
I think so, yeah.
Apparently it says it was 50-50.
Yeah, 116 to 118.
Sam with 4 in the. I mean, also a lot of underperformances, but he had one more guy pop off a little bit harder in Drake London.
I mean, they were like literally almost the same. You had 2 guys pop off at about 30, and then a different guy scored 23, and it was just who has the shittier other guys. Yeah. And unfortunately, this week it was Alex. And
Zay Flowers and Chase Brown give 8.9 and 8.6. So I mean, me and Sam's trade's looking like it was.
Good for you.
Well, I haven't played. Yeah, I haven't played literally one of the guys that I traded him for.
They both have pieces in the Jets Broncos game, which was like the worst football game I've ever watched. Oh, I think the Jets had like 150 feet of total offense.
Yeah.
So good for Sam to get out of this week alive with a win on such a abysmal week.
Yeah, Jason's him though.
Yeah, Jason definitely him. Alex, had Jordan Addison on bye and had underperformances. You would expect Jahmyr Gibbs to put up more. Cortland Sutton, of course.
You expect him to put up more.
Juwan Jennings, when he's healthy, obviously, maybe not with these injuries, but Alex, we've seen put up good scores and get some wins. Unfortunately, he's at even. He's at 500 right now.
I also think Juwan Jennings is more of a Brock Purdy receiver in totality. I think Brock Purdy likes Juwan Jennings' target more than a Mac Jones.
Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah, I genuinely.
Either way, moving on to our 6th and final matchup of this week's 6 slate. Henry, go ahead and take it away. Give us that score and then take us on to the players.
In week 6, fell to Kevin. 127.14 for me, 149.14 for Kevin. This was a brutal one. All afternoon, every time I checked my phone, there was another taunt in the inbox. He put up 11 touchdowns.
12 in the end because Jaden Daniels got another
passing
touchdown.
He did. He didn't taunt me on the last one. I appreciate it. He mercy ruled me. Appreciate that, Kev. My week started hard because Cam Scatabo put up 31 on Thursday Night Football. I've been getting smoked and rolled on Thursday Night Football like every game this year. So that one hurt. But again, my guys put up good scores. I can't really be mad about the process. There was no start-sit decisions I could have made that would have done anything. I could have, changed a little bit. I think Tony Pollard, I've got him running one more week. While Derrick Henry has his bye, and then he's going to be riding the pine. Kevin's team looked great. I mean,
Pretty
he had four top performances of the year for his guys in Cam, Brian Thomas Jr., Tedero McMillan.
Cooper Cup.
I mean, dude, if
Yeah,
every single one of his
I think
guys
that's the
catches a
second time.
touchdown, there's not much you can
I mean,
do.
that's brutal.
And he made some bad decisions. Like started Ryan Flournoy over Jamison Williams. And Darren Waller over Harold Fannin, who's looked, I mean, obviously Darren Waller's looked great too, but like...
Yeah, Kevin could have dropped like a
I mean,
170.
Darren Waller was looking like he was going to have a 1.2 point week until the fourth quarter, and then he, backcourted the end zone wide open, just like nobody even on camera with him. So that was really fun for me to watch. But yeah, like I said, my guys are doing great. I'm finally becoming happy with the Trey McBride pick. He had a great week. Josh Jacobs is looking absolutely lights out.
He looks nice.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy with that pick.
Dak looks good too.
You just gotta hope that eventually the matchups, fall in my favor.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
And that is it for our Week 6 slate. Let's go ahead and move into Week 7. As always, my matchup first, and we've got a little bit of a roommate rivalry brewing here in this Week 7 game. Slim Reaper's Retribution, poised to take on the Redemption Arc. Both of us 4-2. This is a Battle of Titans, and this is actually one of two Clash of Titans this week. We have two 4-2 matchups. I'm currently projected 125.7. Eli is 113.7.
Daniel Jones versus Justin Herbert. I think that's fitting.
Mm-hmm. I went ahead and adjusted my roster based on injuries and everything to try and make it as accurate as possible. I hope you did the same.
Yeah.
So currently, I'm ahead by 12 points is the current projection. And let's go ahead and look at these matchups. I'll speak about my team, and then I'll let Eli speak about his. Justin Herbert against Indianapolis. And obviously, on the other side, Daniel Jones versus the Chargers. Literally, our quarterbacks facing each other, both literally and figuratively. I'm expecting Herbert to do good things. Indianapolis has shown that they're willing to put up good offensive scores and force the other team to air it out and score points. I think Quentin Johnson will be back for this week. Kamani Vidal, the running back, kind of showed out last week and hopefully can take some of that pressure away from Justin Herbert and then allow them to get in the play action, which is where Herbert really likes to shine. Devon Achane against Cleveland, we know that they have been shutting down running backs, but Achane works so well in the screen game and the short passes. I really need him to be my little PPR demon this week, especially with Puka out. Rashad White against Detroit. Bucky Irving is, from reports of Todd Bowles, the head coach, he is not going to play in Week 7, so Rashad White is going to step up again into that running back one role. Every time he's been the starter, he's put up like about 17, 18 points, so that's what he's projected. That's what I need from him this week. Mike Evans is supposed to come back this week. The head coach said that he's hoping Evans can practice and play, and he's expected to. So I really need him. Otherwise, we're going to have to slot in, Kendrick Bourne or Woody Marks or the like. Against Detroit as well, that could be a shootout, and Baker is willing to sling the rock and throw it deep. So I'm hoping Mike Evans can catch some of those. Nico Collins, little bit of a revenge game. ETN also part of this revenge game that we have going on here against Seattle. They have a really tough defense and a good secondary, but I'm hoping that this can also be a shootout, and that's what I'm going to need because I have some pretty tough defensive matchups. Travis Kelce against the Raiders. The Raiders have looked awful. I think it's criminal that Travis Kelce is only projected 10.8. I think obviously Rashee Rice is coming back, but he's only been able to go to team meetings since week 4. He has not been allowed to practice until yesterday. So I think that it's going to take him a couple of weeks to get fully used to the team's new offense, because I think it's clear that the Kansas City offense has changed given how shit it is. And then moving forward, T. Higgins against Pittsburgh. Really tough defensive matchup. I need Joe Flacco to hit T a lot, and hopefully Pittsburgh doubles Jamar Chase and leaves T wide open. And then Devontae Smith against Minnesota. It's a really awful defensive matchup, and Devontae Smith has looked brutal. But if you look at his game log, he either puts up 20 points, 9 points, or 5 points every single week. It has been one variation of those. So could this be the 20 bar? Who knows? And now I'll pass it over to you.
I'll say a couple quick things about your team. Mike Evans, the coach does hope he's going to be in. From what I've read, originally it was a 3 to 4 week injury, hamstring like before. They're in dire need. He has not practiced yet, from what I'm aware. So that's going to be one I really need to pay attention to. Devon Achane against the Browns. I've got to really hope he underperforms there. I do think that what you said is apt, and he will get like some PPR value. But realistically, I got to hope for like a 14-point kind of week there. And then I really got to just hope that T. Higgins and Devontae Smith put up, bad performances against good defenses. For my team, I got to hope that Daniel Jones can air it out enough against a pretty, I don't know, the Chargers defense has been kind of weird this year. It's kind of like hit or miss, it feels like. They're either locking people out of the game or they're non-existent. So I just got to really hope that it turns into a shootout. Kareem Hunt's kind of a nothing factor. I mean, Las Vegas sucks, so hopefully he just gets end zone touches. ETN against the Rams, they have a pretty solid defense. I gotta hope that he just gets involved in the passing game. And then really, once we move into my wide receivers, I think this is where I have to make up a majority of my points in the week. I have pretty good matchups in every single wide receiver position. So I just got to hope that they overperform, and then that Tucker Kraft catches another touchdown. James Cook being on bye hurts, but
It's what it is.
I mean, yeah, it's part of the game.
Yeah, I think it is going to be surprisingly a lot closer than the projection says. I've got some pretty tough defensive matchups, and you have some fairly favorable matchups.
In my like high ceiling positions.
Yes. Like Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, because the Eagles' defenses look pretty rough this year. Travis Etienne, and I guess even Keenan Allen as well. So you're hoping that Keenan Allen catches some touchdowns and takes away some of that Justin Herbert value. So.
Maybe
We'll
one
see.
or two long catches by Rashee Rice. Don't think I can ask or really hope for a touchdown on his first game back. That is the kind of shit that happens in the NFL, I feel like, a lot of the time. But
we've interestingly got a lot of players versus each other this week, like Daniel Jones versus Justin Herbert, Travis Kelce versus Rashee Rice. Devontae Smith versus Justin Jefferson. There was a different one I was thinking of. It would be Etienne versus Puka. Had that dirty defensive Baltimore Ravens player not destroyed his ankle. But either way, that's the roommate rivalry.
should be a good one.
Yeah, should be a good one. I'm expecting it to be fun. Moving into that second matchup of the week, you want to take it, Hans?
Yeah.
It is Bending It Like Meek Mill versus All Routes Lead to Rome. Both teams 2-4. We had a clash of Titans, now we kind of have a clash of stinkers. And
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one for sure. Wyatt still has Mac Jones in the starting lineup, so that's messing up the projections a little bit. But I think once he puts in somebody, I think this is going to be a pretty good matchup.
Lamar's not expected to play until week 8.
Okay, well, he won't play Mac Jones.
Of
He'll
course,
pick up somebody.
of course.
At least.
Yeah. So
Unless Brock Purdy doesn't play, then.
then Mac Jones.
Yeah.
We'll
Maybe
see.
he picks up Jackson Dart, probably.
Yeah, Mac Jones needs Atlanta.
Yeah.
So Jordan Love has had a fine season. He's not, blowing the doors off of anybody, but the Packers look solid on both sides of the ball. So you hope that Jordan Love can get some good passing going this week. Really, both teams here are looking for a bounce back after last week. Disappointing losses for both of them. So this is really going to be a matchup of, how do CeeDee Lamb and Marvin Harrison look after, Marvin Harrison got hurt last week. CeeDee's coming back from a 4-week injury. So this is going to be maybe 3-week injury. But this is going to be an interesting one to see, can Wyatt's guys
Bounce back.
bounce back?
I mean, you need something from CD.
Yeah.
And he's going with the dual tight end start. We've seen it from White a couple times this year. He doesn't want to miss out on those Dallas Goedert big plays because apparently he's the number one target. But we'll see if it works out for him. Moving into our third matchup of Week 7, we have Riley Reid option versus Rockin' with Rico. Let me see what order would work best. I guess I'll just take this one because yours and mine are already done. We'll just let Henry have his at the end. Tal currently ahead in this projection by about 10 points, 122.2 to 112.9. Tal is 4-2, obviously, and Sam is 3-3. Looking at the players, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of check marks just immediately. That's the first thing I'm going to say.
I won my week when it looked like that.
That's true. You did, so it is possible. And he does not have...
No, mine looked like Tal's.
Oh, yeah. And he does not have Mark Andrews slotted out for a different tight end. Oh, Dalton Kincaid and Mark Andrews are both on bye, so he's going to be in the market for a tight end. So expect maybe
Kevin.
Actuality. Yeah, Kevin has another one he'd be willing to trade. Tal, if you watch the pod, if you're a real one, I'd recommend talking to Kev. But either way, Tal will maybe be at like 128 based on if he picks up a waiver guy. We'll look at Tal's people first. He's got Pat Mahomes versus the Raiders. The Raiders look piss poor.
And Mahomes looked good.
And Mahomes looks good again. So I expect a pretty good game from them. I'm hoping a lot of that goes to Kelsey and not Rashee Rice. JT against the Chargers. You know, Chargers have had a pretty good run defense so far this season, but JT is going to get his. He's put up, I think...
He looks filthy.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 30-point games already this season. DeAndre Swift against New Orleans. You know, the Saints look pretty awful, and I expect the Bears to just run all over them. They're probably going to get a 2-possession lead early and then just run the ball and try and get the clock down. Jamar Chase against Pittsburgh. It's a tough defense, and like I said with Mike T. Higgins, I'm hoping Jamar gets doubled. But, you know, hopefully for Tal's sake, Joe Flacco can find Jamar Chase in that double coverage somewhere deep. Jacoby Myers against Kansas City. He really hasn't been anything this year, and somehow he's projected 12.7. He's wide receiver 35.
He's averaging like 10 points.
Yeah, he's averaging 10 points.
Flex spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not great. And then Jalen Waddle against Cleveland. Obviously, you've got a tough defense, but Jalen Waddle has really been that guy, especially since the Tyreek injury. So I would expect him to continue putting up a similar score to his projection. And then J.K. Dobbins, the guy who underperformed last week, going up against the Giants, who have a really good defensive line. Guys like Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, the new guy that they just drafted, like 4 overall.
Yeah, they got some play.
I can't think of his name, but either way, I would watch out for him. Tal may decide to substitute him for Ramondre Stevenson against the Titans. It's a much more favorable matchup. We'll see how that goes. And then looking over at Noah's team, this is post-trade, so everything is updated. Noah's got Jalen Hurts against Minnesota, one of the best defenses in the league. Jalen Hurts has looked okay, even though the Eagles have looked pretty mid, so I'd expect him to do around projected. Kamara against Chicago. You know, Kamara's usually been that PPR demon, but the Saints have been pretty competitive, and Spencer Rattler has been, you know, throwing it well, so I don't think that, you know, anything will change. Alvin Kamara may catch more passes in this game because the Saints will be down, but I don't think he's going to get back to where he was, you know, when he put up that 6-touchdown game on Christmas. Cam Scatterbo against Denver. Yeah. Cam Scatterbo against Denver, tough defense, you know, fresh off the trade, ship the white man to Noah. I don't know how well he's going to do this week. It's another tough defensive matchup for him. Michael Pittman against the Chargers. He is the wide receiver 1 for Daniel Jones so far this season, but last week he had a kind of stinker, so we'll see if he can bounce back.
Yeah, like Pierce came back last week and got some of that loving.
Tedero McMillan against the Jets, another tough defensive matchup for Noah. And the Panthers, you know, they've looked okay. They've had some good games. They've had some really bad games. But we'll see what he can do here. He usually catches a handful of passes just because he's the primary target.
You'd imagine he'd have Sauce Gardner on him.
Yeah. And then George Kittle, fresh off the trade and fresh off the IR. He's expected to make his not season debut, but debut after the Week 1 injury. Against Atlanta, you know, pretty tough defense. I would expect whoever it is that's going to be quarterback, regardless of whether it's Mac Jones or Brock Purdy, they're going to be checking down to the safety blanket, George Kittle, a lot. And so I expect some good points here. Calvin Ridley, who's probably not going to play against New England, and even if he does, I think Noah would probably be better off. Oh, man, I don't know.
Hunter Henry.
Josh Downs or Hunter Henry, yeah. And then we'll see about that one, but that's a tough defense, and Calvin Ridley's injured. And then Rico Dowdle, obviously he's got to be in your lineup after the last 2 weeks. Against the Jets, it's going to be a really tough test for him to see if he can, break out again and bust open that Jets line.
I don't think you can expect 30.
Is
this
Chuba
week.
not coming back?
I think he is expected to play, but I think the team said that they're willing to do a committee because of how well
could you
Rico
not?
is. I mean,
Yeah,
dude, he's
I
put
mean-
up back-to-back games of 200-plus scrimmage yards. Like,
Yeah. How are you gonna
yeah.
Like
be like, all right, thanks,
He's
man?
put like 250.
Ride that pine, brother. But yeah,
He
so
won them 2 weeks basically.
Noah's underprojected here, and he's got some really tough defenses. Tal has been one of the highest scorers week in, week
Yeah,
out.
and he pops his projection out of the water
Yeah.
every
Pretty
week
much.
so far.
So I don't think that anything's going to change, unfortunately, for Noah. I think that things are going to go bad here. But, maybe you be the underdog and, just like Rocky. But moving on to the next matchup of the week, I'll pass it off to Eli. We got Swifties for Smirnoffs taking on the Golden Boys, Sam versus Bennett.
Yeah, I mean, pretty similar to the last matchup we looked at. You're projected 110 versus 126. It's like a 16-point spread. Oh, exactly a 16-point spread.
Mm-hmm.
Bucky Irving's probably dead. Garrett Wilson's probably dead. But I think this is a good week for Bennett. He caught a good opponent.
Bennett has Drake May in the lineup right now.
However, even though you say he caught a good opponent, this is the other Clash of Titans matchup, 4-2 versus 4-2.
Yeah, but Sam lost a lot of people last week.
Yes.
He's got some fraudulent
He's
wins.
got Zay Flowers on by.
Egbuka's out for a
Egbuka
while.
Going down, I think really hurts.
Hey, he did get Kamani Vidal on the waivers.
Also, we saw last week he had 2 people put up 30 points and the rest put up 5.
Yeah.
Bennett's going to put up over 90 points.
Yeah, and look, obviously Josh Allen's on by, but hey, he's starting Drake May.
Yeah, I mean, he's got.
As you would. But
I would move Drake May after this week if I was him for sure.
I would expect him to put up a great score versus Tennessee and then shuck him to the team with the worst quarterback.
But yeah, I mean, Bennett's. He's got a lot of good matchups. Yeah, he's got a lot of good matchups. You'd think Bijan would probably go pretty crazy against San Francisco if Atlanta's going to stay in the game.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not staying in the game, then you may get a
Drake London game.
Yeah. So
They're gonna need him.
He put up 30 in the first half last week.
yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think that is. I don't know. I feel like you need a good Bijan game to have a good Drake London game. You have to have the threat of him ripping off.
Bijan never
or
has a
touchdown.
bad game,
So,
so
yeah.
it's just like, can Michael Penix complete passes?
And that's
half the time
question
you this
mark. I'm interested in George Pickens though, with CD back.
What becomes of him?
You may hopefully this is like a good week. Maybe they ease him back in for Bennett. Romeo Dubs, stud. Nothing to be said about that. 2 Green Bay receivers is interesting. I know it's his namesake, but I would start Romeo Dubs and probably not. Well, he doesn't have anyone else to start him over, I guess. Literally no one else to start.
Yeah, no. I mean, his whole bench is not playing this week. So
Yeah, I mean, if Sam gets some good games, I would keep an eye on the Jets game. Really,
Yeah, it's going to be a big tail.
I think this you could easily see
The
this
Jets
going,
game and the San Fran Falcons game, because that's where most of the players are.
I think that's
the
pivotal
Jets
moment.
should definitely be able to get it going against the Panthers better than they did the Broncos, but
Falcons
It's the Jets.
49ers is what I worry about.
it's gonna be a big one.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to watch.
Will be a good matchup. Looking at our 5th matchup of the week, I'll take this one and then we'll pass Henry's to him at the end. We have Blue Medical Tent versus Baby Want Milky. Kevin currently 3-3 and Charlie at 1-5. Now Eli said that somebody, I forget who it was, Bennett had a good opponent to face last week. Now, I don't want to be disrespectful, but this is the opponent that you want to face for Kevin. He just made a big trade, retooled the team, got rid of some tight end depth as he had 3 usable tight ends, and kind of rebuilt the team from the ground, not from the ground up, but rebuilt some key areas. Picks up Saquon Barkley, kind of is able to buy low based on, even though Saquon is still RB12, he's severely underperforming where he was last year, and so are the Eagles overall. Picks up Terry McLaurin, who's kind of been injured this season and hasn't really been able to get into form. and slots him right in against Dallas, which is the team you want to face if you're a quarterback or a receiver. And then also gets Travion Henderson, another great matchup for the trade acquisition against Tennessee, especially with Antonio Gibson going down 2 weeks ago and Ramondre going 13 carries for 18 yards in week 6. I would expect Travion to see a lot more work this week. He's currently projected 129.6. Charlie's projected 107.7. Kevin's got some pretty good matchups. Obviously, Jaden Daniels and Terry, he's got that stack built now against Dallas, and that's what I just said. You want your quarterback and wide receiver facing Dallas. CMC against Atlanta, they've got a pretty good defense, but he's RB1. He's averaging 25 points. You would expect him to continue. Saquon, RB12, averaging 15 points against one of the toughest defenses. You would expect him to be, at or below projection this week. Brian Thomas against the Rams. They've got a pretty weak secondary so far this season, and he just had his career best game last week, so you would expect him to try and bounce back and build on that. Harold Fandon against Miami, that's kind of really what you want, especially with the David Njoku knee injury. He seems to be the guy, and Dylan Gabriel seems to love to throw him the ball. And then J-Mo against Tampa Bay, he's really been that boom or bust guy. I think he's put up either under 10 points or about 15 to 20.
No, it's 2 or 20.
Yeah.
It's bad. 2 or 20?
I said under 10.
Yeah.
6, 6, 6, 2. Yeah, but either way, Kevin knows that with J-Mo, when you have him, he's going to be a flex 1 or 2 guy, and then you just either have to make the decision of I'm going to bench him and wait for him to pop off and then trade him, or I'm going to ride him all season. Kind of like Hunter Henry as tight end, it's not really somebody that you can rock with every week. I mean, it's somebody that you either have to rock with every week or you can't try and pick and choose because you will more than likely pick and choose the wrong week. Looking at Charlie's side, Bo Nix against the Giants, pretty tough defense so far. They shut down Patrick Mahomes, they shut down the Eagles. We'll see how Bo Nix can perform. Jalen Warren against Cincinnati, really good defense, especially coming back off that injury. You're really hoping that he can get it going this week. Michael Carter, well, we'll talk about Ashton Jeanty
Really
as
good
if he's
defense to play
RB2.
against.
Yes. Is that not what I said?
You just said really good defense.
Ashton Jeanty against Kansas City. If the Raiders want to stay competitive in this game, they're going to have to get the run game going early, and Ashton Jeanty is going to have some of those big explosive plays. Michael Carter against Green Bay, who's the third running back Charlie's starting. We'll see if he actually goes through with this. He may decide to start Jerry Jeudy in his place as he's projected 12.2, and I would. It's a much more favorable matchup against Miami. And then looking at Xavier Worthy against Vegas, like I said, if the Chiefs end up blowing them out, I expect all the receivers to get involved. Probably Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and Travis Kelce, but I'm hoping Rashee Rice is slow. A.J. Barner, who it appears Charlie's rocking with over Brock Bowers, who's currently questionable.
He's projected 0 right now.
Yeah,
so
seems to be a fine start. He worked for you last week, got you 10 points against Houston. It's a good matchup. And then lastly, we have A.J. Brown. We've talked about this Philly game a lot, but against Minnesota, one of the tougher defenses, he's projected 15, and he's been a huge fucking diva, and he's begging for the ball to get thrown his way, so I expect the coaching staff will probably have to, unless they plan on trading him within the next couple of weeks, but within the next 2 weeks, because the NFL trade deadline is mid-week next week. Speaking of which, we need to figure out when our trade deadline is. I think it's week 10. But
the NFL trade deadline is November 4th.
No, it's week 8. It's halfway through the season. And I mean, you can look it up if you want to check. But either way, I think that Kevin obviously is clearly favored here, 22-point advantage. And I think Charlie's going to need a lot of things to go right. He's got some tough defensive matchups, and Kevin's got some pretty favorable matchups. So
he's got boom potential. Charlie's got boom potential on his team. He's got a boom.
Yeah, he needs everybody to boom at the same time this week.
Yeah.
If you go 1-6, I mean, obviously you're not out of the playoffs yet. I think Charlie needs to start looking at some trades. Maybe get rid of Brock Bowers. Maybe move some of those other people who are the high value positions on your team and try and rebuild similar to what Noah was doing.
This is December 3rd.
Okay.
That's ours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is November 4th.
What week of the season?
That's in 2 weeks. So, week 8.
So it probably changed when they added the 17th game.
Week 9.
Yeah,
whatever.
It probably changed
Irregardless,
from the end of this.
irrelevant.
Either way, moving into our last matchup of the week, we have Henry et al. Versus JSFN. Henry, go ahead and take it away with the projection and the players.
Sure. So I am projected 130.7. Alex right now is projected 106.8. He does have Khalil Shakir in his starting lineup and Jordan Addison on the bench and Quentin Johnson on the bench. So decision to be made for Alex going into the week. I'll go through his people first. Baker Mayfield is QB2. He looks awesome. Definitely in the front running for MVP. There's some talks. Jahmyr Gibbs is looking like he's starting to take over the role in Detroit. He looks awesome both on the ground and in the short down throwing. So you love to see that if you're Alex. Corey Krosky-Merritt has had a good season so far. He was kind of a joke at the beginning of the season. He was like running back 4 on the team, and a couple things fall your way, and he's like a every week starter.
A trade and an injury, and he's the guy.
Yep, JSN is wide receiver 2. He looks out of control, making some really, really high level like toe tap catches on the sidelines last week.
Is him.
Broke like a 65-yard, just beat 2 guys down the field and walked it off into the end zone. This week for Alex, you're really hoping that Cortland Sutton and Bo Nix can make a better connection than they have been the last couple of weeks. They've been a little shaky, but we'll see what that looks like. Right now, Alex has Mason Taylor in over TJ Hawkinson, so we'll see if that sticks. But both of them, you're happy if they score.
Yeah, it looks like if he had all of his highest projected players, and it would be a
120.
slight favorite.
It'll be a close game.
Yeah, a slight favorite.
Yeah, I think it'll be like 122 to 130.
Yeah. So then he has Jawan Jennings in his lineup too, and after last week, you might think about sitting him. So
yeah, for Kenneth Gainwell or Quentin Johnston,
right?
So you've got opportunity
both of those
here.
guys in. We'll see what happens.
Looks like it's going to be a slugfest.
Yeah, it will be. On my side of the house, Dak's been fantastic. He's airing it out, and now he gets his favorite weapon back. So really hoping that CD can pull in some of those balls that he was dropping in the first couple weeks of the season. Josh Jacobs, back-to-back 30-point weeks. Really loving what I'm seeing out of him in Green Bay. He's catching a lot of passes. He's getting a lot of goal line work. Their offense is kind of firing on all cylinders right now.
Don't see why it would stop against Arizona.
Right. Yeah. Hoping that they can pull ahead early, and then he just gets 25 carries. We'll see what happens. Because Derrick Henry's on bye this week, I have one more week of the Tony Pollard experience. When he scores, I'm not even that happy. It's just
against New England, tough matchup too.
Yeah, so kind of expecting another 5.1.
James Cook's got the best performance this year against New England, and I think it was 64 rush yards.
Yeah, that's not great.
I think in fantasy terms he put up like 12 and a half.
No, it was less.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Okay.
because
Yeah,
he
so,
didn't get any passes. It was like 5 or 6 points.
If Tony Pollard can score, I'm going to be happy. If he doesn't, then I'm just going to be like, okay, whatever. Amon-Ra has been my golden boy so far this year. He's been fantastic. A little bit of a down week last week, but aside from that, he's been doing really well. They play Tampa Bay this week, who you expect to be a little bit competitive.
Wide receiver 2 versus wide receiver 3.
Right. Yeah. We have a lot of comparable matchups right now. And then I'm rocking with Stephon Diggs. He did me great 2 weeks ago, and then not great last week. He had a pretty big catch called back on an OPI. So get those hands out of there, Stephon Diggs.
Now, that was such a bullshit call. Anybody who knows football, I'm going to jump in here for 10 seconds. The rule is, as a receiver, you're allowed to defend yourself and create space as long as you don't extend the arm. And if you watch the clip, he creates space and then dives for the ball. He never extends the arm. It's such bullshit.
Many people are saying this.
The rules analyst who they have in the booth, in the fucking broadcast studio, was like, oh, that's not a flag all day. They'll call that back. And then he was like, flabbergasted that they didn't.
Has he got it in the end zone yet this year?
Maybe once. No.
No.
Crazy.
No touchdowns yet, so maybe this week. against the Titans. I mean,
That's
You
the best.
know.
You got one of the best opportunities.
we'll see. And then Trey McBride, I love Trey McBride, dude. There's just something about him, man. He plays the game the right way.
Okay. Side note: Trey McBride, 2 lesbian moms. Fact.
Hey.
Something to be said. About
Makes
that.
for a good pass catcher. So if Marvin Harrison is to miss any more time, which you obviously don't hope for, but it was good for Trey McBride when he was out last game. DJ Moore, after the game on Monday Night Football, he was taken to the hospital. He went out.
I don't know what with.
Yeah, I don't know. He went out at the end of the second quarter, sat through halftime and then went out in the fourth quarter. So, hopefully maintenance, hopefully he's fine, but I'm pretty sure coach said
Groin injury.
Okay, welcome to the lineup, Alec Manor.
Shoot me in the head.
It says for now the receiver still looks to have a chance of playing week 7. Yeah.
It's all falling apart. And then Deebo Samuel is my last guy. He's been very good, except for last week. They play Dallas this week. You love the matchup. So we'll see if Terry McLaurin's back. For my sake, I hope not. But, he needs one more week of rest. That's all we need. So this is going to be a fun matchup to watch for me and for Alex and for the rest of the league. So good luck, Alex.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
This will be a good matchup, and I mean, honestly, looking at everything holistically, we don't have any close matchups this week. I think the closest one is Tal and Noah at a 10-point differential. Everything else is 12 to 16 points or higher. So we got a lot of underdogs this week, and we'll see if they can prevail, or we'll see if the top dogs can stomp. So
If it's anything
no
like the
James
last
Cook
couple
for
weeks,
me.
Alex, you're about to put up a fucking nuke.
I wish you all.
Tactical.
Does he have anybody on Thursday Night
Kill
Football?
Oh, that's the question, huh?
We don't know,
Yeah.
unless you really
I
look
don't
at
know.
Alex's
I don't know
team.
what the game. Oh yeah, here I have it pulled up. No.
No.
Yes.
Oh,
Kenneth
Gainwell.
Gainwell.
No!
Kenneth Gainwell 30 bomb.
Alex, don't start him. We'll see if Alex watches this.
That's against Cincinnati.
Oh no!
Jalen Moore game. Jalen Moore
Yeah,
game.
yeah. It's been a fun week, or fun season so far this year. Watching my opponent's teams go nuclear on me. So
Well,
There will only be 2 5-2.
get in here. Get in here.
There will only be 2
There we
5-2
go.
men. I hope it's me and not you.
yeah.
I hope it's me and not you. I wish you all the best of luck. As Eli said, only 2 Titans will stand atop the leaderboard after this week. I hope everybody wins that needs to, except for Eli. And I'll see you all next week.